Welcome back to BeerFormers. This is our 17th episode. We're so excited
Hi, everybody.
to be coming at you again, and we're getting so close to getting more subscribers. We're getting close to that 160 threshold. We're like only a couple away as of the filming of this one here. So keep telling your friends, keep telling your loved ones, I guess.
Your coworkers, your neighbors, your enemies.
We're having fun doing this. We want to share the fun with you. And thank you all of our subscribers that we do have. The comments that are coming in are a lot of fun. So we're having a great time.
I want to make it 200, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Stretch goal.
Keep going. So we're doing something radically different today because we're not going to talk about a transformer. We're going to talk about something equally as cool. And as you can see here in front of us, you probably got to guess what we're talking about already. We're talking about St. Louis's very own Voltron, Defender of the Universe. Not many people know that he is out of St. Louis because World Event Productions, who are the people who own the concept of Voltron, are right out of this of our nearest city here to us.
Out of KPLR TV.
Yeah. The Copplers were who owns the World Event Productions. So real quickly, or just real super, like as briefly as I can make it, origin story of Voltron. So in several episodes back, we talked about Robotech briefly. We talked about Jetfire. Robotech was brought over to America by a company called Harmony Gold, and they basically bought the license to 3 Japanese animes, brought them to America, redubbed them in such a way to make them have like an integrated story, and to put that out as Robotech. But originally they were 3 totally different cartoons. So I don't know the facts in this one, but I don't know if they had the great idea at the same time, or if Harmony Gold came out first and World Events Productions said, hey, we could do that. Or like I said, if they just had the idea at the same time. But regardless, World Event Productions went to Japan and also had an idea of bringing over some Japanese cartoons, some anime, redubbing them and making a new story out of them as well. And so that was the nucleus of Voltron.
Right.
So fun fact though, so when they first showed the classic Lion Transformers, which is what our beers that we're going to be talking about are going to be highlighting. Those are the ones that hit first. Very, very popular. I remember all of us kids at the time were talking about in the playground, going home to watch the next episode.
Dynatherms connected.
Are they going to be able to connect it to make Voltron or not? It was such hit, just an amazing time.
Because they always had to fight the Robeast.
Right.
There was always a new Robeast.
Remember the first 5 episodes was like, will they or won't they be able to actually make Voltron?
Right.
Yeah.
We weren't clear. And there was drama. There was transitions in the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like...
people came and went.
So for the first time, I mean, each episode was like its own little story, but it was also a continuing storyline. Yeah. It was almost like a kid's soap opera.
It got more episodic after that, but at least that first miniseries was very much so. Yeah. And
that's why I liked it.
It was like kid soap opera.
Yeah, it was very... That's why it was so special.
But World Events Productions, they went over to Japan, found 3 programs that they thought could bring over, and we're going to put them out one at a time. All right, and so the Lion Force was based on a cartoon called Beast King Go Lion. All right, and it wasn't even supposed to be the one that they wanted to do.
And that's what's so crazy about the story.
Yeah, I love this part of the story. They had found some other cartoon that I think his name was Daltanius or something along close to that, right? Where the robots still kind of went together, like we kind of know and love. But the chest of Daltanius, I'll put a picture of Daltanius on the screen, had like a big lion for a chest. And the story goes, when they called up, I think Toei was the name of the animation company, to say, please send us whatever. The story goes, they said, send us the one with the lion, because I guess they couldn't remember the name or like that. And so Toei sent over 100 Beast King Go Lion instead of Daltanius. And World Event Productions, for whatever reason, instead of saying, no, we take this back, we want that one, they ran with it.
Probably a cost thing. Yeah. They're probably, well, this might as well happen.
Yeah, they ran with it, and we got the Lion Voltron to begin with.
The rest is history.
And so, what they didn't do, in my opinion, as a child watching Voltron, is they didn't do a good job of letting us know there were going to be 3 parts.
Yeah. Okay. Right, and I don't know if we would even comprehend that.
After the original Lion run ended, and everyone's loved that. Like, I remember coming home the next day. It was, I'm going to make this up, but let's say it was like a Tuesday, Wednesday thing, right? So the Voltron Lion ended on a Tuesday, and then I go to watch Voltron on Wednesday, and it's the vehicle team.
Yeah, and can I just back up here just a little bit? Another thing that kind of almost made this feel like a betrayal is that when we say that the series ended, it did spectacularly. Like, there was a conclusion, and it was satisfying. Like everybody wins and the bad guys are vanquished. And so, of course, in my child mind, I'm thinking, oh, I can't wait to see what Voltron does next, because they've clearly finished this storyline. And then, like Dave says, you flip on your TV, and it's all of these vehicles and new people we've never seen before. And I remember going, what the heck is this?
Right. And as a kid, I watched it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
And I think most people felt the same way too. So when it came time for them to unveil the third Voltron cartoon,
I didn't even know there
they
was a
backpedaled big time.
I didn't even know
and
there was.
they scrapped it completely.
Okay.
Okay. And they actually commissioned. I guess there was a little bit of lag time. It wasn't like it ended. Like, oh no, what do we do? In the meantime, we're realizing the ratings are falling on the vehicle team. They called up Toei and said, "Can you create a whole new season of Go Lion Force for
and what'd
us?"
they say?
And they did.
Okay.
So we got a third season of Lion Force.
Okay, and I didn't know that because by this time I was actually into real soap operas. So my sister and I were recording Days of Our Lives at this time. That's what I was watching after school.
So there were 3 seasons of Voltron originally. The Lion Force, Vehicle Force, and another season of Lion Force. And that season of Lion Force, that third one, was made for America.
Yeah.
So because Beast King Go Lion had run its run. In Japan, they kind of do things differently. They don't like to have necessarily things that just keep going and going. They'll tell a story.
Yeah.
And be done
clearly,
with it.
which is very different. We're not used to that in the United States.
So they had to make up a whole new series for it. So in honor of Voltron, we're going to get out some Voltron. Now, we're probably not going to have time to do like all these today, but we'll go ahead and show the first one here. And I'll let this. Here's my vintage.
Okay, so this was the coolest toy.
Yeah.
All right, so all of these lions came apart, and you could actually transform the lions into the legs, the arms, the body into the lion form and play with those. And like they shot missiles. Like I had the blue lion for a long time, and I liked that one because it was the one that was driven by the woman. It was Princess Allura, girl power. But it's heavy. This is
made out of die-cast metal. This is not original.
Right. I had an original blue lion. Okay. It was so freaking cool.
When they first made Voltron toys back in the 80s.
Can we take it apart?
Yeah, go ahead. There were 2 companies. There was Panache Place. I never had any of those because they didn't look good. They looked cheaply made to me and stuff, right? Yeah. And then Matchbox, of all people, made these ones here. And I remember going to a store and seeing on the shelf, and I'll put this on the screen, the different box sets for these. You could buy like the lions in sets of 2s, or the black lab would come by itself. But they was labeled Voltron 3, and that was our first glimpse that there was going to be something with that one. I can't get the legs
off. I can't remember how.
I don't think you have. I think you have to push that
press
up
that
a little
yellow
bit.
button. Okay.
And so like Voltron 3, well, what the heck's that about, you know?
Yeah.
And then they had Voltron 2, which we're going to show you in a second, and then Voltron 1 ended up being the vehicle team. Can you get that one too?
No.
Okay. So several years later, another St. Louis toy company called Trend Masters, I guess, bought the molds or something like that, and they reproduced the Matchbox set, which is what this originally is from. So the Matchbox set is remade into this one here.
Mouths would open.
So like the green lion, the red lion are a little bit smaller to make them more appropriate for being arms, compared to legs. And the red lion, the blue lion and the yellow lion are a little bigger for being legs. And of course the black lion is the biggest as the torso. So Noelle's going to fiddle with those while we talk about that.
The green lion. It
Pidge.
It was driven by Pidge, the little guy with the glasses.
The blue lion was Princess Allura for most of the run.
Here we go.
But for Sven a little bit.
You could shoot its head off.
What's they do in the cartoon?
Yeah, because they would shoot their heads would come off and it would like fight the roe beast.
They had all kinds of cool weapons they would use, but I remember as a kid just going, just pull out the sword.
I know.
Because the sword is the only thing I ever wanted.
Oh yeah, they would. I always wondered too, like they'd mess around with missiles.
Launch the fists.
Yeah.
And,
No, it was pretty cool, but at the end, they'd be like, how are we going to defeat this thing? They would
Blazing
finally
sword.
go, form, blazing sword. Dun, 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 dun. And then the blazing sword would vanquish the roe beast, and all was well.
So part of what they did when they overdubbed this is because of like censorship laws and things like that about kids programming, is that they didn't want anybody to die. And Beast King Go...
well, that's great.
Beast King Go Lion, the aliens were aliens, and they were getting killed left and right.
Well, that's true.
The roe beasts, as we call them in America, were just giant aliens that were mutated, so they were living creatures. So they basically made anything that died into a robot, and that was okay to kill it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wasn't there a missile that went in here?
Maybe at one time. And his tail's broken off on both the blue lion and the yellow lion there.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of it still was a little...
So when they redubbed it, it was like everybody that got killed wasn't really a real person. They were just a robot, so it was okay. So when he would cut the roe beast in two, he was really killing something in the original cartoon.
So here's Yellow driven by...
Hunk. Spoiler if you've never seen Voltron, the original started with a character named Sven. Sven was the original pilot for Blue Lion.
Yeah.
And he gets severely injured and goes away for a while. And he gets replaced by Princess Allura. In the original Go Lion, Sven gets flat out killed.
Yeah, we couldn't do that in America.
So when Sven gets brought back later on, I can't remember how that was in the goal line. I'd have to look that up. I think it was like his brother or something like that. But in America, they just made Sven. He wasn't, he never got killed. He just was hurt really bad, and he's fine now.
Here's the blazing sword.
Yep. So boom, like that. So as Noel keeps doing this, we're going to break out the next one here. So I do have a knockoff version of the vehicle Voltron.
Boo.
Yeah. The Matchbox made this one too. It was about the same size. It was way bigger than the Lion Force Voltron. And this one would come off. This got his blazing sword too with a cross on it. When he would make his blazing sword, Voltron, Lion Force would put his hands together and the sword would form between the hands. Vehicle form would take these two like helicopter blades out, slap them together, and the sword would grow up out of his hands there.
All right, now who drove Red Lion, Dave?
Lance was the hothead. That's why he drove the red.
Yes, he was always getting in some kind
getting some sort of trouble. So the vehicle form Voltron would split apart into 15 different vehicles, originally based off a cartoon called Armored Fleet Die Ruger 15. Okay, and they were exploration vehicles that could form this giant robot, and that was the robot's name, Die Ruger 15, renamed into Voltron here for the American audience. We'll put that up to the side here. And then because Noel's almost got the black line here.
Yeah, I just got to get his little legs out in the front.
And so I mentioned that there was going to be a third Voltron, all right?
Yes,
and according to the Matchbox toys, it was Voltron 2. So why they aired them out of order, if that was Voltron with the Lions was considered Voltron 3, and the vehicle form Voltron was Voltron 1. So they did 3, then 1. I guess we're going to finish with Voltron 2.
All right, how do you get those feet
There's
out?
a little flap you have to lift open.
Oh, okay.
And the feet will come out then. It opens up this way. Like
I was doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
There we go.
So what was going to be Voltron 2 was dubbed the Gladiator Force. All right?
Oh, it was.
So when the toys for this one came out, I was like very fascinated by that. So the Voltron 2 was originally a cartoon called Albegus, Lightspeed Electroid Albegus. And Albegus was another Japanese cartoon, obviously, that was aired originally in Japan. That featured similar themes, a group of people who wore different colored uniforms, piloting different mecha that would come together to form a super robot, right? The only other thing you want to do about this one is these should be kind of pointed back like that.
I thought so, but it wasn't working out too good. Yeah. There we go.
So here is Voltron 2. All right. Voltron 2. Now, I've got him shown just because of the original art, which I'll put on the screen for this.
And real quick, here's the black line, the leader. And
Keith.
Keith was the driver.
So Albegus, or Voltron 2, as it was going to be, which never got
all those arms, yeah.
The artist who drew this was given the toy, I guess.
Okay.
And because the way the toy is built, I think originally you're actually supposed to fold these arms back, in the back like this, and hide them. Because in the cartoon, Voltron only had 2 arms. All right?
Okay.
So you would kind of fold these back and hide them as best you could to get them out of the way. And he would do his thing, just with 2 arms. So he might look something a little more like this, I guess, when he's in Voltron form.
Did he form a blazing sword?
He had a sword too.
Yes.
Yeah.
How
he formed it, I think he just pulled his hand in the air and just appeared in the hand or something like that.
Okay.
But the artist who got this toy noticed all the arms sticking off the back and thought, well, they must surely be used or something like that. So he depicted it for the box art for the toy as having 6 arms. And little, whatever old Dave Schreiber saw that and goes, 6-arm Voltron, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And so I bought these except for one. I had 2 of the 3 for the longest time, and I got the third one finally on eBay, probably
which had to be junior high Dave Schreiber.
Yeah,
because I was in 5th grade
84,
when this came
84,
out.
Yeah. So I always display mine with 6 arms out because I just think that's amazing right there, right?
I know, it is amazing. I like that.
So this one was piloted by 3 teenagers, that were very similar to other forces like that. And what was
good
the original?
Their brains are fully developed. Good time to have them pilot a
so
giant
there's no
robot.
information about how World Events would have redubbed this and how they would have incorporated in there. The original cartoon, they were like teenagers who had invented these robots, and they get the robots turn out to be way better than anyone thought, so they get called
like
up.
Hot rods, I guess.
There's an invasion of purple skin aliens, which fits in with Die Ruger 15 and Go Lion.
Yeah.
Purple, I think that was one reason why they chose those. I'm guessing Daltanius had purple skin aliens too. I don't know. Those are the Drool Empire that everybody was fighting against. So Zarkon was an offshoot of the Drool
Yeah,
Empire.
Zarkon was the main baddie, and he had some kind of witch lady that was
Hagar.
like, yeah,
And the son,
I couldn't
Prince
remember her
Lotor,
name, but
yeah.
she done like this.
So Albegus could stack in different ways to get different powers.
Yeah.
So like if the black robot was on top and the red one was in the middle and the blue was in the middle, that was supposedly gave the combined form different powers. If they would have used that in Voltron, I don't know. They would have had to because the cartoon would have done it.
Yeah.
They would have stacked up in different ways. So I think it was probably maybe a blessing in disguise that was so good that when this came out, it didn't do so well that they decided to go back to this. Because if they had put this out, who knows what would have happened. We wouldn't still have Voltron so many years later.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That's a cool toy, though. Is that one heavy?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That is heavy. That'll break your foot if you drop it.
And so these were sold, Voltron 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Is this one heavy, too?
This one's all plastic. This is not too bad.
Yeah.
But then after Voltron came out, it went away for several years.
Yeah.
But then they brought it back in the 90s as Voltron the Third Dimension.
Yeah.
So they basically CGI computer guys animated it, And it wasn't that great. The animation was a little bit cheesy, even for the time.
Do you know, was it still coming out of KPLR?
It still was.
Okay.
The only thing that came out of that, though, was the last toy I'll show you, and that was Stealth Voltron.
Which is not bad.
Yeah, it's kind of neat looking.
I mean, there's probably a whole generation of kids who that is their Voltron.
In the
sword
cartoon,
is pretty kick butt.
There was the Lion Force again.
Put that sword up there again. Look at that sucker. That is a cool sword.
That's shield and stuff.
Yeah.
The lions would travel through like a
stuff.
dimensional portal. When they traveled the dimensional portal, they got mutated into the Stealth Voltron
Is
form.
it different people or is it the same
No, it was
characters?
the same cat. They even had the same voice actors.
Really?
For the most part.
Okay,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
There's a couple ones I think that maybe weren't either alive or couldn't do it. But by and large, it was the same voice cast.
Version.
And then they had Voltron Force in the early 2000s, but they never made toys for that one, oddly enough.
Huh.
And then they
That
had
is odd.
Voltron, the Voltron Legendary Defender on Netflix.
Okay.
Which we have that toy too, but we'll save that for some other time.
Do we? When he says we, he means he.
Yeah, I do.
That's okay. Question.
So even though it's not Transformers, they are transforming toys. They do transform everything.
Totally. I mean, this is so cool.
And again, it's a local thing right here. We from St. Louis area recognize this as being important to our cultural history, I guess, if you will. And I think that's part of the reasons why we're going to be able to talk about this beer in a second. What's your question?
I have a question. Yeah. When this other dimension Voltron
Third Dimension came out?
Did Princess Allura still have a blue uniform, or I'm sorry, a pink uniform, even though her lion is blue?
They finally corrected that for the Third Dimension.
That's good, okay.
And I did learn something about this.
All the other lions in the 1983 version, their uniform matched the color of their lion, except the girl had to have a pink one.
That's not true either.
Why not?
Lance, who piloted the red lion, wore the blue uniform.
Why was
and
he doing
Keith, who piloted the black lion, wore a red uniform.
I don't remember that.
And I learned about that. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I learned a little bit about that. In Japanese anime,
remember she had a pink uniform.
In Japanese anime, there's a certain amount of I don't know, just culture
Sexism?
that goes in, that goes into it, right? So like the hairstyles and like that, there's reasons behind that, okay? And I can't get into all the details.
No, that's okay.
Okay, but one of the things that they like to do, and you'll see this especially if you're a fan of Power Rangers, which is kind of an offshoot of this.
Yeah.
It's basically live action, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Super Sentai is what it's called over in Japan. But in their culture, it's kind of I don't know, for lack of a better term, it's what they do. The leader wears red.
Okay.
So that's why Keith is depicted as wearing red, even though he piloted the black lion. So by the time it came to America and had time to kind of sit around with us for a little bit, and it came time to redo that. So Voltron Third Dimension was not made in Japan at all, as far as I know. So they corrected all that. So Keith finally wore black. Lance finally wore red.
But why didn't Lance wear black in this version? They could have just flip-flopped. And then Allura could have worn blue.
Because Sven did wear black, but when they retired him, she's the girl. She's got to wear pink.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. A little bit of sexism on that, but it was the 80s.
Exactly.
It was a different time.
I'm glad they corrected it.
Yeah.
You know what? It's okay though. I'm going to tell you my Voltron memory. I loved this cartoon. And when I think of Voltron, I think of, at the time it was on TV, my mom was working as a secretary for a cabinet making shop in Rosewood Heights. And so I would get on my bike at Rosewood Grade School and I would ride up the sidewalk and I would stop at Zykes Pharmacy, which isn't there anymore, and I would get a candy bar, and then I would go a little farther down the road to the cabinet shop, which isn't there anymore. But I would go in and I'd say hi to my mom, and then I would go to the very back of the cabinet shop through like the actual workshop. And they had this little office with a little desk and a plastic chair and a black and white TV.
And you watch Voltron.
And I could not wait. And I would turn on Voltron and I'd eat my candy bar.
So no wonder you'd have good memories of who wears what color because you're watching it in black and white.
I know. Some
It's the gray. They're all the gray line.
Some days I saw it at home. So there are some days that I saw it at home, and I don't remember why I would be home on those days. But
yes, kids. At one time, TV was only had two colors.
But I did see it enough at home to know the actual colors. But yeah, that could have something to do with it. But that's my big memory, and that's like a core memory. And so yeah, as you can tell from that, a lot of kids. I mean, not just from the St. Louis area, but I think all over the United States, kids in the 1980s fell in love with Voltron.
Oh, Voltron was huge. They had actors dressed up like doing like a mall tour with like some sort of like little show they were doing.
It captured our imagination. Yeah. So, which is why I suppose Hands Brewing decided to roll out these beers honoring the Voltron Lions. I have not been able to get specific information on what inspired them to do it in the first place. Voltron came out in '84. These beers started rolling out in 2023. Yeah. So it was a year off of like a significant anniversary. We speculate that it might have something to do with that. But regardless, real quickly, just a few things that are cool about these beers. They're very hard to get because they were limited release. And of the 5, we've only been able to try 2 already.
And we're going to try the 3rd here in just a minute.
Because if you snooze, you lose. And we spent one afternoon driving all over the place trying to get the Green Lion, right? Was that the green?
Yeah. We kept finding it, like saying it's available. Yeah. We look online. Oh, Green Lion's available at this store.
We had to end up
go to that store. Sorry, we just sold it out or whatever.
We had to end up buying the can.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping someday, just so I could have my collection complete, because as you can tell, I also collect bottles and cans. We hope someday I actually taste it. But couple things about these beers that are interesting. Each one. So I've already spoken about Hands. I believe it was episode 3 or 4. So if you go back, you'll be able to see everything we have to say about Hands, which is a wonderful local brewery. Mm-hmm. Very charitable, very good beers. They have more than one location. Just a unique place to go, and they're always trying new things. They also do distilling now, but each one of these beers was a collaboration with another brewery, and they weren't all from around here. And they were all IPAs, but they all had a little bit of different characteristics. So if you point to them, I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one.
So volume 1
was the Yellow Lion.
On the back, it shows Voltron doing the kind of the hero pose where he's trying to get ready to swing the sword at you and stuff. Okay.
And they always with the lion. It was always that's the classic pose. Yeah. They had the lion. One of the lion hands would always be roaring, and the sword would be back like this. Okay, so this was a collaboration. It's an Imperial IPA that was a collaboration with Narrow Gauge, which is a local brewery. It was brewed with Citra and Mosaic hops, and it was fermented with Heliogazer yeast. So it gave it some really fruity flavors.
And this is the first one we were actually able to try. We found this at Hands when we first went there. We snatched it up, and this is before we started doing this channel, right?
So then
volume 2
is the Green Lion. It's a fruited hazy IPA, and it was a collaboration with Southern Grist Brewery from Nashville.
And Voltron on this one is kind of just standing there like he's walking toward you.
It was brewed with Mosaic, Riwaka, and Nelson Sauvin hops. Plus, they added mango and kiwi during the brewing process.
So we had Hunk, we had Pidge. Yeah. Volume 3 is Black Lion.
And it is a West Coast IPA. It was a collaboration with Hop Butcher for the World from Chicago.
All right.
And its characteristics that are special is that it was late and dry hopped with Azaka, Southern Cross, and Simcoe hops.
And Voltron on the back of this one is kind of just doing kind of a pose. It's not like he's like brandishing the sword, but not necessarily like he's going to hit you with it or anything like that. I would love to know who did the artwork for this.
I know.
That would be kind of fun to look at sometime too.
That would be cool to
This one we did not get to have. So we've not had Green Lion or Black Lion. We missed on those two somehow.
Yeah. But we were able to get over there to
Volume 4.
Red Lion. So we went over to Hands in downtown St. Louis and picked this up. It's a hazy IPA, and it's a collaboration with Surly Brewing Company out of Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. It was also late and dry hopped with a blend of Strata, Mosaic, and Allura hops. Get it? Allura hops.
Close.
Yeah.
Allura, but as opposed to Allura. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
No, it's the same thing. Allura hops.
A-L-O-R-A, but Allura was like Allure. She's pretty. Allure. A-L-L-U-R-A is how you spell her name.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that,
I think get the joke.
Yeah, no, I think they did that on purpose for Voltron.
I'm sure they did.
It was brewed with unmalted wheat as well, which I think is
interesting. And Voltron on this one is kind of his generic standing there pose. Like at the end of an episode, you just be standing there. So now this is kind of that pose.
So now we're ready to live try
Volume 5,
which is the Blue Lion.
So go ahead and get it. And I'll tell a little thing that we heard from a bartendress while we were there last time. Okay. When we were there to get Volume 5. One of the people behind the bar serving drinks said that they thought they had heard. So this is all pure speculation. So I'm not going to give any names in case someone gets in trouble. In case this is not true, or in case it is true, and just let the cat out of the bag. But we heard the rumor that they might put out a volume 6 where the can is Voltron.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they're going to pour all 5 together.
Oh, that would be fun.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Or if there's going to be a 5th one that's completely different.
Okay, so this looks a little hazy.
So volume 6 is Blue Lion.
Yeah.
Or volume 5, excuse me. Volume 5 is Blue Lion.
Okay, it is a hazy IPA. It's a collaboration with Tripping Animals Brewing from Doral, Florida.
Florida. Okay.
And it is brewed with pale malt, white wheat, and flaked oats. And the hops in it, it's a blend of Cashmere Citra and Idaho Gem hops.
And Voltron on this one is kind of like taking the Red Lion hand, kind of like he's going to get you.
Oh, it smells like grapefruit.
So we now have all 5 of these cans. We're very super excited about it. Again, with 2 of the cans I bought on eBay just so we can have all the set. Yeah. If you know a place where we can get Green Lion and Black Lion, let us know. To actually try it, let us know.
But you know what? This was so much fun. We had so much fun trying to find them. We've had fun trying them. The artwork is beautiful. I mean, what a way to honor something that had such great pop culture significance to us as kids and just to where we grew up. So anyway, let's give this a try now. Yeah. Cheers.
Now, I don't usually care for IPAs, so if I make a face, I apologize. It's not that it's a bad beer, it's just not my style.
Oh, that's wonderful. You're going to like that because it's very sweet. It's more grapefruit than bitter.
When it's in the mouth, it's sweet.
Juicy.
But when you get the aroma, then it gets the IPA on it. So yeah, it's not too bad. I actually could drink this one.
Very juicy.
I can drink this one.
Well done. Delicious. What a way to
Very hazy, as Noel said. You can't really see much behind it.
Yeah.
What makes it hazy, do you know?
They don't filter it.
They don't filter. It's an unfiltered IPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they do not filter out the yeast.
It's been so much fun seeing these and like, it's kitsch, obviously.
No, it's great though.
But it's good collaboration. A lot of these local brewers like to do that. They like to work with each other, because it's kind of a community. They support each other.
They sure do.
And when you have like beer festivals, and we're going around trying different beers. Delicious. The people who own the different beers tents at a beer festival are also going around trying everybody's. They're all like, how'd you make that? What do you know that? So they're all like swapping ideas all the time. It's great.
I think it's cool that they collaborated with breweries that are from all over the United States and not just in the St. Louis area, which they could have. I mean, there's so many wonderful craft breweries. And
Voltron is a big deal all over the country, as we just said.
Sure is.
So, yep.
Yeah, so... Anyway, thanks for joining us.
So I wish we had more time. If we did all these Voltrons the way we did the Lion Force Voltron, this would be like a 40-minute, hour-long video. But that's not why we're here. We're just here to share our love of toys, share our love of beer, our love of Voltron.
Our shared love of Voltron.
Now, I always talk about at the end of our videos how you can go to tfwiki.net to get information on this. You're not going to this time because Voltron's not a Transformer.
Where's the best place to go, Dave, to find out more?
I think there's Voltron.com, pretty sure. Okay. I think it's basically owned by World Events Productions out of St. Louis, which probably has some Baron Owens. I looked at it a couple times over the last couple of years. I have to admit, I didn't do a lot of where to go to find more information on Voltron for this video. But there is a fan wiki for this one. I have to look up exactly what it's named for. But if you just type Voltron in Google, you're going to get cool stuff, There's lots of people making toys for this still to this day. Okay. A lot of them are from Japan, where they're actually being sold as their original incarnation. So you can go get a Go Lion toy, or a Die Rugger 15 toy, or an Albegus toy. Ooh. But you import that over here to America, and you incorporate your own headcanon. You got yourself a Voltron toy.
I'm like,
So if you want to find more information on Voltron, it's readily available on the internet. Look anywhere, do your own search. You're going to find lots of cool stuff. But, as we always say, you got one thing to say?
Yeah, I just, hi, buddy. Ronan had to make an appearance, didn't he? I just wanted to say that Hands Brewing has a great website, so if you want to go there and check it out. They still have a volume 4 Blue Lion beer.
That just came out in the last couple of months.
It came out in June, but again, limited release. It's on their limited release page, so you might have a chance still to get it at one of their 2
And I believe the only way you can get it is through the cans, right? If you go to the breweries, it's not on tap, I don't think.
No, it's been on tap.
Has it been on tap?
Yeah,
okay.
It's been on tap there. I can't guarantee that it's on tap there now, but they have it on tap, but they're not anywhere else though.
Yeah.
You can get it on tap at least at the downtown St. Louis brewery. They've got another brewery location, so I can't speak for if it's there. But you get it in cans about those places. And in the St. Louis area, for sure, you can get it at various liquor stores. I don't know how extensively they've got it outside of this area. Maybe they hit the markets.
I think I first saw a Red Line and a Schnucks.
Okay.
That's what
I'm just talking about. I don't know if they're. You know how they collaborated outside of the St. Louis area. I'm not sure if you can also get the cans there. All I'm saying, though, is it does go quickly. Like I said, we missed out on 2 of them because we did not go fast enough.
Blinked.
Yeah. So now it's, we're at the time of we're making this, it's late August 2024. So, and it came out in June of 2024. So if you
it could be gone.
Or it could be just like this is your last chance to get it. So anyway,
we did also hear a rumor they might put them out again.
Yeah, so that might happen too.
Someone told us one time they might put Yellow Line out again. If they do that, they'll probably put the other ones out.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping an eye out.
Keep your eye open for that.
But anyway, that's all I have to say. Check out Four Hands, great brewery, and these beers have been the ones that we've got to taste. Have been a blast. Just what a great project.
If you have any other questions about Voltron or any other toys you'd like us to talk about that maybe that are similar to this but not Transformers, we're open to it. We did one other episode. We did a non-Transformer with the McDonald's food changeables, so we'll talk about almost anything. Mostly
go back and check out that one if you want.
Yeah. We'll probably put that as the link for this one at the end. But remember to so drop us a line if you have any other alcohol you'd like us to try.
Yeah, beer or anything distilled.
Spirit. Yeah. Let us know. We'll love to have the information on that one. But as we always say here, please make sure you're always drinking responsibly and playing responsibly with your toys. And join us again for another episode of BeerFormers as soon as you can.
Meets their eye.
Woo-hoo. Here's Voltron.